infection. They could not figure out. So meanwhile, I was suffering a lot. Pardon me if you heard, that wasn't a burp, but it was me like trying to clear my throat. So it was not until 3 days or 4 days before I was released on January 31st that they figured out that it was one of the antibiotics that was actually, I was allergic to it, that was actually causing me to have high grade fever. Anyway, so here I am. So I was released for a week. I went back to ENT because and now it was like I couldn't breathe. It was very uncomfortable. I was home for a week. Unfortunately, I had to go back again to the hospital. But this time it is a different hospital that I went to. It was the hospital where my ENT has admitting privileges. And of course, it wasn't decided that I needed to be decannulated. So here I am. Although I feel a lot better and I'm recovering, it is a very slow recovery. It's I went through so much, but all I could think of was like coming home to my doggies and my plants. I kid you not, I went to total depression when I was in the hospital. Day in and day out, I was there sitting alone. I would have visitor, every night Mark would come. God bless his soul, he is such a wonderful man. And he was there, he made sure that he was there, he would come and see me, bring dinner. However, I could not even eat that. It was just very difficult and I basically lost all my appetite. Due to, I believe, to all the antibiotics that all the medication that I was receiving. And I was losing my mind. I was very emotional. I was frightened. There were times where I thought that I wasn't coming home anymore. Because it was that hard that I was fighting for my life. I thought that this was how my life ends. And yet, although I wasn't frightened of death, I was actually frightened for my dogs, my responsibility to them. So I prayed, I've never prayed so hard, that I would be given another chance to live, to see them through until the end of their days here on earth. Because it would be unfair for them to lose their mum. Because they would definitely be separated. They would be divided, because I don't think that one person can handle 5 dogs. I have 4 golden retrievers and 1 Dachshund, not to mention my African grey bird named Graby. She named herself. And and how my mother is going to take. I just could not imagine the anguish that my mom would feel if I were to die, if I were to leave. Death is not frightening for me. What's frightening is leaving the responsibility that you were meant to do to someone else. So I fought really hard to come back home to my babies, and also to those of you who prayed so hard and who send me daily encouraging messages. And for Mark, who's always there giving me strength and encouragement. To Shannon, who came all the way from Massachusetts. And to my Aunt Alice, who flew all the way from South Carolina. She is sick herself, to come and see me. And of course, Gloria, who's taking care of my babies and also my plants. God bless her. Because my orchids are doing wonderfully. I have lost a few to virus. I think it was due to the unusualness of the weather inside the house, or the temperature. It gets very cold and then it gets very hot. So it was very challenging to think that it was the end of me. There were few moments there where I knew that I wasn't coming home. It's like when you think of that how fragile life is. You look around, basically, and look at the things that you cherish so much, and they just become nothing. Because after you're gone, they're just things. So I am more encouraged now that the most important thing in life and the most important gift is basically time that you give to someone else. And I got those. I received time from all of you, my listeners, my followers, my friends. Even though I have not met you personally, you were there. I was bombarded with a lot of messages. I was sent orchids in my to my hospital room. Nancy, Faye, Aunt Alice, Mary, my dear sister Mary. My sister Mary is from another mother. And all of you and every one of you, I cherish so much. I treasure all of your encouragements. There were actually the very strength and pillars that gave me the strength and propelled me to fight for my life, to fight for the beauty of life. And the good news is, I am cancer-free. Well, at least, cancer is evil, but for now, I beat it. However, I am not out of danger. because myasthenia gravis is actually much more evil than cancer. It doesn't prepare you. Like right now, my airway is too narrow. I get very winded when I climb upstairs. I can't do the usual things that I used to do. However, I'm still grateful, even though I'm struggling so much. I'm still very grateful that I was given another chance to be able to come on live, and this ends whilst others in my situation were not able to do that because they have reached the end of their trip here on Earth. So for that, I'm really grateful. However, there's a danger of what I have, and I fear for it. That, of course, I always think of the worst case scenario. What about if I can't catch my breath anymore? So I get really, really winded. But even though I have that fear in the back of my mind, I propel on. Because you can't live in fear. You can't live in what ifs. You can't live in anticipating for something bad to happen. Because whether you are sick or not, life could snap. Life could take, that life that you have could be taken away from you, whether you are healthy or you are ill. So what I'm learning right now is just living for the moment, extending kindness, not be judgmental, letting others let live and let live. That's basically how it goes. And be tolerant. Be happy for the successes of others. And just be mindful of what you say. Because words cannot be taken back. So thank you so very much for listening and for following me in this live podcast. And yes, my orchids are doing well. I can't wait until the spring because they when it gets warmer, so they can actually go outside. And I am always grateful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for listening and for following me. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. That is Dr. Alison Strathmore /Connors on Facebook. And also, I am on several channels on my podcast. Thank you so very much. And remember, live life, each moment of it. Thank you very much and have a good night.